What happens when the glittering world of fame collides with the shadows of betrayal? Imagine a city known for its strength, resilience, and legacy, Chicago. Now picture its name tied not to triumph but to scandal. Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, two of the most watched figures in modern celebrity culture, find themselves in the middle of a storm. At the heart of it lies a supposed friend, an ex-friend who once shared their trust, their table, their confidence. But when money for a Chicago charity goes missing, the bond shatters. The confrontation that follows is not just about dollars and cents. It's about loyalty, deception, and the truth behind a headline that shook both Chicago and Hollywood. Tonight, we step inside that moment. Kim and Kanye confronting their ex-friend over the Chicago charity scandal. The story begins with a promise. Kanye West, born and raised in Chicago, had always carried the city in his heart. His vision for giving back wasn't a side project. It was part of his identity. Kim Kardashian, standing beside him, supported this mission. Together, they announced a bold initiative, a Chicago charity designed to uplift communities, fund after-school programs, and provide resources for families in need. The charity was more than philanthropy. It was a way to tie Kanye's celebrity to the soil of his hometown. But every great vision needs someone to help carry it out, and that's where the so-called friend entered. At first, it all seemed perfect. The friend had experience, connections, and the smooth charm of someone who could walk between worlds, the boardroom and the street, the celebrity gala and the community center. Kim and Kanye trusted them. They believed the money being raised, millions of dollars from fundraisers, endorsements, and celebrity-backed campaigns, was being funneled directly into Chicago's neighborhoods. But trust, as history reminds us, can be the easiest currency to counterfeit. Soon, whispers started circulating. Parents waiting for promised scholarships saw delays. Community leaders asked why the funds hadn't arrived. Behind closed doors, the paper trail revealed inconsistencies. Money diverted, expenses unaccounted for, and a growing hole in the charity's finances. For Kim and Kanye, the alarm bells rang not just as business people, but as parents, public figures, and Chicago's symbolic benefactors. Their reputations were suddenly tethered to a scandal they did not create. The confrontation was inevitable. Imagine the scene, a quiet Chicago penthouse, the city skyline burning orange at sunset. Kim poised but seething, her voice sharp, cutting through the polished silence. Kanye packing, his frustration spilling into every step, the weight of betrayal heavy on his shoulders. Across from them, the ex-friend, once a confidant, now cornered. The air was thick with tension. This wasn't reality television. This was reality itself. "Where is the money?" Kim asked, her tone measured, every word precise. It wasn't just about the funds, it was about betrayal of trust, of community, of children who were promised a future. Kanye, less restrained, pressed harder. "Chicago is my city. You think you can play me, play us, and get away with it?" His voice echoed with anger, not just as a man wronged, but as a son of Chicago whose legacy was at stake. The ex-friend stumbled over excuses. Administrative errors, miscommunications, exaggerated figures. But the evidence was damning. Bank statements missing checks, invoices paid to shell companies. Every detail revealed a web spun not for charity, but for personal gain. As the confrontation escalated, Kim's face remained calm, but her words cut deep. "You didn't just steal from us. You stole from Chicago, from kids who needed books, from families who needed homes, from a city that trusted us." Kanye leaned in, his fury sharpened. "You made me look like a fool in my own city. You dragged Kim into this. You dragged Chicago into this. And for what? Your own greed." What makes this moment so extraordinary is not just the drama of confrontation, it's the clash of worlds. On one side, fame, power, and the weight of celebrity reputation. On the other, the gritty reality of community trust and betrayal. And in the middle, an ex-friend whose name was once tied to promise but now became synonymous with scandal. Chicago itself became a character in this story. The city watched. Headlines ran wild. Kim and Kanye charity scandal. Ex-friend confronted over missing funds. For the people of Chicago, it was a mix of anger and disappointment. For years, celebrities had come and gone, using the city's name for their own narratives. But this was Kanye, one of their own. His bond with Chicago wasn't just symbolic, it was deeply personal. And for Kim, her role wasn't just as Kanye's partner, but as a woman determined to protect her family, her husband's legacy, and the people they had vowed to help. The fallout was immediate. Kim and Kanye publicly distanced themselves from their ex-friend. Legal teams were brought in. The charity's finances underwent intense scrutiny. Lawsuits loomed. Yet even amidst the chaos, one truth rang clear. Kim and Kanye were determined not to let the Chicago charity scandal define them. Instead, they vowed to rebuild, to restore trust, and to continue supporting the city in new, more transparent ways. In the documentary Lens, this confrontation becomes more than celebrity drama. It is a study in trust, betrayal, and the price of misplaced loyalty. It asks haunting questions. How well do we really know the people we trust with our visions? What happens when the very person you thought was building with you is the one tearing it down from within? And what does it mean when the scandal isn't just about money, but about hope, reputation, and identity? Kim Kardashian and Kanye West walked out of that confrontation not unscathed but resolved. The Chicago charity scandal may have exposed cracks, but it also revealed something else: their refusal to bow to betrayal. Chicago, a city of resilience, demanded nothing less. As the credits of this story roll in the streets of the city, one thing becomes clear. Fame may dazzle, wealth may influence, but in the end, it is loyalty and the lack of it that shapes the most dramatic stories. And in the case of Kim and Kanye confronting an ex-friend over the Chicago charity scandal, the betrayal wasn't just personal. It was public, it was painful, and it was unforgettable.